What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. So we're going to do another What Sold. I come at you every weekend with a categorized What Sold. Currently I'm doing a rotation of 4 different categories: hard goods, clothing, shoes, and hats. And today, next up in the rotation is hats. Now if you have a suggestion, and maybe once in a while I'll throw in a different breakdown of an item, please suggest it down below and I'll see what I can do. But once a month I'll hit each category. I don't show every sale that I've had from that category, but try to give you a good mix of maybe something to look for or some better selling items. Today, like I said, we're doing hats. I'll pop them up on the screen, tell you where I got them, what I paid for them, how much they sold for, how long they took to sell, my approximate net profit. And I say it every time, the numbers you need to focus on is basically what the item is selling for, what the item is, the brand. If you're a brand new seller, maybe you could look at, now I'm no expert and I'm not the best, but you could look at how I titled my listing. You know, all the little details where you can learn. Because my buy costs are going to be different than your buy costs. So that's going to affect your outcome. But if you see what that item is selling for, you know whether to pick it up or not. So let's get started. Alright, first hat up is a New Era 3930 Durham Bulls, which is a minor league team for the Tampa Bay Rays. This hat I found at the Goodwill bins, and it goes by weight, so I'm going to say pay like 25 cents a hat from the bins. This was new, it had the sticker still on it, it was nice and clean. It took 1 week to sell, sold for $17.75 plus 4 shipping, and I netted roughly $15. So for all hats I charge $4 shipping. I put them into a clear suffocation bag and into an eBay 8x6x4 box. Alright, here we have a John Deere hat. This is a more modern one. This was new with tag. I found this at the regular Goodwill, so I paid $1 for it. It took about 3 weeks to sell. Sold for $17.75 plus 4 ship, and I netted roughly $14. Alright, here's another John Deere hat. Now this one kind of threw me for a loop, and I didn't even really pay attention until someone mentioned it. This was found at the Goodwill bins, so I paid about $1 for it. It sold in 2 days. Now, it was a little dirty, so I just said, like, you know what, I didn't pay nothing for it. I priced it real low. And then someone messaged me, because I showed this in my haul video. Then he said, I'm pretty sure that's a vintage one because of the label of the deer. And if you look at the deer on this one, the legs are coming downwards and it's got the forelegs compared to the last hat, which the legs are going up in the front. Now, what threw me for a loop is if you look at that hat right there, it's got like the front visor part's got like a mesh design. So that's not really a vintage design, even though the deer on the patch seems to be vintage. Now, it's a K Products hat, which is associated with vintage, but it says made in China, which is not associated to vintage. And it's also a real tree camo, which is really not that old. So I wasn't really sure. Maybe I could have got more out of it. Whatever. I made 10 bucks off it. Alright, here's an Orange County Choppers. You might know them from the television show they used to have, where they would build motorcycles. Found this at the local regular Goodwill. So it's $1. It took 1 week to sell. $17.75 plus 4 ship, and I netted $14. Alright, here's an MLB baseball one, the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's a New Era 950. It was new with tags on it, and I found this at the regular Goodwill, so $1. Took about 3 months to sell. Sold for $18.75 plus 4 ship, and I netted about $15. Right here is a DC Comics hat with the Aquaman logo on it. I found this at a local thrift, which charges $1 per hat, and there was 4 or 5 of these they had, so I grabbed them all. And this was, I think, the first one that sold. So not a real hot hat. And it took 6 months to sell. And I still have like 4 left. Sold for $17.95 plus 4 ship, and I netted roughly $14. Alright, here's a University of Miami. The brand is Top of the World. It was a fitted hat. Found this at the Goodwill bins, so I paid about $1 for it. And when I found this, there was a white one and a green one. I think I already sold the green one a while ago. This took about 4 months to sell. Sold for $12.75 plus 4 ship, and I netted roughly $10. Here's a New Era 950 Miami Heat hat from the NBA. This was a hardwood classics. It still had all the stickers on it. I found this at the Goodwill bins, so I figured about 25 cents. Took 1 week to sell. It sold for $13, which means I took an offer on it, because I don't price things straight like that. I think I had it listed for like maybe 17 or 17 change, 16.75, somewhere in there. So I took it off for 13 plus 4 ship, and I netted roughly $10. Here's a vintage hat. I don't find too many vintage. I know some people out there, other creators, show big hauls of vintage hats. Where I am, I don't really find too many, once in a while. But this was a pretty cool. It was all mesh instead of like trucker style, or even mesh in the front. And it had a patch on it that said General Asphalt, and it showed like some construction vehicles. Paid 25 cents, found this at the Goodwill bins. It was real nice and clean. Sold in 4 days, $23.75 plus 4 shipped, and I netted about $20. Here's another sports hat. This was a Dartmouth Tennis, which is a college. This was new with tag. I got this from my source, so I got this for free. Sold in 5 days, $13.75 plus $4 shipping, and I netted around $11. Here's another construction hat. This is Bobcat is the brand. It's a nice black and orange design hat. Found this at the Goodwill bins. So again, about 25 cents. Sold in 3 days, $13.75 plus $4 shipping, and I netted roughly $11. Okay, here's a hat that I spoke about in a few of my videos. Recently I showed you me cleaning them, and where I got it, this one I found at a local thrift store, so I paid $1. Then I had white ones that I got from my source where I paid $0. So this one sold. I got it for $1 at a local thrift. It was nice and clean. Sold in 1 day, $32.75 plus 4 shipping, and netted roughly $28. And in my video I had said watch for these hats. These Roger Federer, that's what the RF stands for. He's a professional tennis player. They sell for good money. And here's another one. Here's one of the white ones that I got for free. They were slightly yellowed. One was good. The other ones had a little bit on it, but I OxyCleaned them and washed them, and they came out great. So this one sold. I paid $0 for it. It sold in like 3 or 4 hours. Listed this one for $27.75. Just because when I comped them, the darker ones, there's some blue, there's some red, there's pink, there's all kinds of colors. But the white ones were a little less, so I priced it a little less than the black. Maybe I could have got 32 as well, who knows? But I paid $0 for it. So it sold for $27.75 plus 4 ship. And on this one I netted about $23. So watch for those RF Roger Federer hats. So that's pretty good money right there. And lastly, another vintage hat. I got this at the same thrift store that I got that black RF hat on the same day. So I paid $1 for this. This was a old Marlboro hat embroidered with the cowboy on the horse. So a pretty cool hat. I'm not into the smoking scene, but sold in 2 days. Sold for $26.75 plus 4 ship, and I netted roughly $22. Alright, so when it comes to pricing the hats, you kind of comp them. Some you might not find the exact hat that you have, so you kind of just ballpark it. If you're getting them for $0, $1, 25 cents, whatever, you can price them low. You're still making 10, 12, 15 bucks a hat, which is not bad. It's a real easy ship. So to me, I'm happy to make 10 bucks on a hat. So out of these 14 hats, my total buy cost was $7.50. Total after fees and recouping my buy cost, I netted $217 on 14 hats, which makes an average net of $15 per hat. So that's pretty good. Now you saw most of them came in around me making $10, $14, and a few higher price ones, of course, bump up that average. But either way, to me that's a good, and this isn't even all the hats I sold for the month. I just didn't put in some that were kind of just generic and, again, sold for 10 or 12 bucks. So, if you can make an extra 200 to 250, by picking up a handful of hats every month, add it to the rest of the stuff you're selling, why not? Out of the 14, 10 sold in under a week. 1 sold between a week and a month, and 3 took longer than a month. So, hats are fast selling too. It always amazes me that people are out there buying used hats. You would think it's kind of dirty and gross. You can wash them. It doesn't really hurt them. and but they sell. So that's it for hats. I appreciate you watching. Any questions or comments, please put them down below. All right, so next weekend I'll be back with another What's Sold, and next up in the rotation is clothing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.